Hey YouTube, how's it going? So, as you guys may already know, GGG added in some new scarabs in the middle of the league, and these are for different league mechanics. They're for Essence, Blight, Breach, Legion, Abyss, and two extra random ones for whatever. Right, so I wanted to test these out and see how these held up against the new/old scarabs that GGG added in the beginning of the league. Right, so in this first episode, this is going to be all about Essence. Right, so there was a new scarab added in, which is the Essence Scarab of Calcification, which reads that rare monsters that are natural inhabitants of the area are imprisoned by essences. This means that if there are any rare monsters that naturally spawned in the map, so Ritual doesn't count, Breach, Legion, all these are added to the map. So none of those, only monsters that existed in the map at the time the map was activated, right? So, yeah. So the map, if you fill it up with rare monsters, you get a ton of essences from it, right? So this is how people were running Essence for this league. It's crazy. It's very profitable, which is also why this Scarab is a bit expensive. It is 20 to 30C, 20C if you buy singles, 30 if you buy in bulk. Right, so what is the new Scarab? Well, this is what the new Scarab reads. Imprisoned monsters released in areas grant a random essence mod to another imprisoned monster in the area. Now, what this basically means is every single time you open an essence, any one of the essences that was in that monster get thrown, a copy of it gets thrown into another essence, essentially just giving you more essences from the map, right? So the same line is actually on this passive over here, which says a map boss is granted a random essence modifier from any imprisoned monsters slain in your maps. So same thing for this node, the map boss gets random essences and they stack up. For the Scarab, they don't stack up as much because there's so many essences in your map, so they just go to a random one. So sometimes you'll have one essence that's like filled with essences, and other times you'll have essences spread out everywhere, right? The other line in this says that imprisoned monsters in areas have increased difficulty and reward for each essence modifier they have in them. So this, honestly, the increased reward felt like nothing to me personally, so that's not in this calculation at all. Increased reward did nothing. I tried it with tier 16 essences. I tried ghosting them. I even put on some magic find gear on a different character. Nothing showed any increased reward. I don't know what that's about, so that's out of this profit calculation thing. Alright, so we're gonna go over both the strats and how they look in a map. The first one is going to be the one using two mirrored scarabs, one calcification and one essences are a tier higher. So just ignore me doing the syndicate mechanic here. I added in Jun just so I can make some extra currency while doing the essences, because just running essence seemed a bit dull and dry. I like adding other things in as well, and I wanted to test out some things with Veil drop chances. Ignore this part. Right, but besides that, you can see that, so ignore this part. You can see there's going to be a ton of essences, and most of these have at least 1, 2 deafening essences in them, and they're just everywhere, right? You see these that have like 2 essence monoliths right next to each other. That is from the mirrored rare monsters that I mentioned. So this is where the monsters are mirrored. They're both right next to each other. They're both rare, so they're essences. And you can see all these massive monoliths with a bunch of essences in them. This is how you can expect all of your maps to look. This isn't a lucky map in any way. This is not some like rare occurrence. All of your maps will look exactly like this. You will get deafening essences and shrieking essences everywhere. And you will see eventually, when we get to the boss of this map, they will also be filled with essences, because we do take the node on the Atlas tree that makes all these essences go into the boss. However, we do not corrupt any of these essences. We don't corrupt a single one at all. We just open them and run through. No remnants of corruption, no nothing. Okay, now I'm gonna switch over and show the Adaptation Scarab. So this is going to be the Essence Scarab of Adaptation. This uses 1 Adaptation Scarab, 1 Calcification Scarab, 1 Mirrored Monster Scarab, and 1 Essences are a tier higher. So I wanted to see if this new Adaptation Scarab makes a big difference in how much money you can make from Essences per map. You can see here, like there is a jump cut. So you can see here there is a significant difference in how long it takes me to kill certain essences based on how many essences are in them. This is because of that scarab that reads that if you have more essences in a monster, it gets increased difficulty, which is GGG's wording for damage reduction, because that's just what they love doing. They just like adding in layers of damage reduction. That's basically what these essences have. They have damage reduction and increased damage dealt to us. So that's basically it. There are no increased rewards, as you can see. Nothing extra is dropping. There's not even a random currency orb that's dropping. There's nothing. It's just the amount of essences that you can see written on the monolith itself. So same thing as the other strat. We are not going to be corrupting any remnants, any essences. We won't be using any remnants of corruption at all. You'll just be running through. All of these maps are unrolled, the scoured map, and you saw this essence in particular right now that had a bunch of essences in it, and it actually straight up just basically one-shot me. And I have a pretty decent character here. It has about 120k effective HP, which sure, it's not the most, but it's still pretty decent, right? So I do have to be a bit more careful when I'm running this Scarab, because yes, some of these essences can straight up just kill you, right? Which is not the case with the other Scarab setup, where you, as long as you're doing them in a low tier map, you're completely fine. So this is being done in a tier 6 strand. Tier 6 is the lowest tier for yellow maps, and we do yellow maps so that we get shaking essences. And you can see the boss still has a bunch of essences. That's still mostly the same, right? So now we're gonna go in game and see exactly how all of these essences added up, how much money we made, and whether or not you should be using the new Essence Scarab or not. So let me just take off my minions because they are very noisy. Okay, so how much did we make? Let's see here. So this is how many essences I got using the Calcification Scarab with the mirrored adversaries, and the essences are a tier higher. So as you can see, I purposefully did not put these in the essence tab. I put these separate because I wanted to show exactly the amount, the sheer amount of essences that you will be getting if you run this strat. So if you do not have an essence tab and you don't have a quad tab, you will have some difficulty farming all of these essences. So to keep that in mind. So this is how much we got. And also just ignore these up here. This is if you also run Betrayal alongside of this. I will talk about that more when we're doing the profit calculations in the end. But to summarize, in 50 maps, I was able to do 5 arena layers, and out of those 5, we dropped 1 Veiled Orb. Gravicious gave me a Divine Beauty set. He gave me 4 Mythic Orbs. I got the Sephiroth from Leo, and I got Doriani's Epiphany also from Leo. If you don't know who Leo is, who Gravicious is, it's a whole separate thing for Syndicate. So that's completely separate. Right, and this is how many essences we got out of the Adapt and Go strat, which is the Adaptation Scarab mixed with the Calcification Scarab and everything. So, a few things to note here that I actually forgot to take out. I was trying to not take this node on the Atlas tree, right, this one, and actually did try to use some remnants of corruption to see if these special essences also move and get added to other essence monoliths, and they do, right? So there were maps where if I found one of these essences by corrupting something, there was a chance that this thing moved to another essence when I opened it. However, it is not worth it to do. You have to stop, open your inventory, use a remnant, and 1 out of 4 to 5 times it doesn't even do anything. You just end up losing a remnant, and overall you also lose the massive amount of essences that the boss drops at the end for a chance to get these essences. Personally, I do not think this is worth it, and you'll see exactly why second when I show the overall profit breakdown in the end. So we're going to remove all the essences because these will not be coming in the total calculation. Oops, I put all of them back in. So we remove those, we put them in the essence tab, right? So they're gone. What is this doing here? Okay. So this is how many essences we made. Same thing, we ran 5 Katarinas in 50 maps. That is around the average, right? If you want to do it faster, you can, but I wasn't really focusing on this. So yeah, we got 1 Veiled Orb again from 5 Katarinas. Did not get anything good from Divicius or Leo. That's separate. Right, so now let's switch over to Wealthy Exile and see exactly how much we made in terms of actual currency and profit. So here we are in the Wealthy Exile screen. Let me just... So here we are in the Wealthy Exile screen. If you're not familiar with this, well, it basically just helps you price how much currency or how much one of your stash tabs is worth. Right, so we have 2 stash tabs here, Calcification and Go, and Adapt and Go. So we're going to see exactly how much we made in each of them. Right, so starting with the Calcification and Go, if I sort this out for essence, this basically removes the Veiled Orb and the other stuff. So just essences, we made 49 divines worth of essences in 50 maps. That is, you can say that's almost a divine worth of essences per map. Now, do keep in mind, divines are quite low in overall value. That is why that number is so insanely high. But in other leagues, it will still be the same. Why is that? Because right now divines are low, but essences are also low because of the graveyard crafting. So essences basically will always be very profitable to run because everyone will always want them for something. Okay, so 49 divines for this strat. And with the Adapt and Go, we actually made 48 divines. This is actually going to be even less because I forgot to take out the corrupted essences. So this is actually going to be, once this refreshes, it is still 48 divines. Essence of Insanity. So it is still counting these. So I'm going to remove these manually. 1 sec. Alright, so I'm back, and we can see that after removing those corrupted essences, we have a total of 45 divines in this stash versus the Calcification and Go, which is 49 divines. So why is there such a big jump? What is the difference? Well, with the Calcification strat, we have, instead of using the Adaptation Scarab, we use an extra mirrored Scarab, right? The Adversary Scarab, which gives us 8 extra essences in the map. All of these extra essences also go into the final boss, right? So that's pretty damn insane. That is 8 extra essences per map for 50 maps. So that is basically 8 times 50, which is 400 extra essences that you will be getting in the end versus not getting them here. Here, we have to replace one of those scarabs with the Adaptation Scarab, which, yes, while it does make you give 1 essence to every other essence, I mean 1 essence every time you break an essence, but if you have like 10 essences in a map, it still doesn't fully make it that amazing because it adds 1 essence to every single other thing. So if you have 10 essences in a map, you actually get only 10 essences from that map versus the Calcification and Go thing. You get 10 essence monsters, right? So those monsters can have 1 essence or they can have 5 essences, right? You don't know. So you get way more essences using this versus this. Now I tried to optimize this the best that I could. I even tried to go circle around the map, find all of the corrupted essences, like the ones that have Scorn and Envy, and I use remnants of corruption on them first to try to switch those into the rare essences, the corrupted ones. and then kill those first to have them moving around. But at most, I got 3 corrupted essences from one map, which is just not worth it, right? So, and it was making the map take way longer as well, so it just was not worth it at all. So TLDR, don't run the Adaptation Scarab, because while it is less profitable, it is also more time consuming. So I did die like I think 4 times in total in 50 maps to just randomly getting blown up by the Essence monster. Not to mention they are way tankier, especially if one of them has Soul Eater in them. They basically don't die. So I actually had to call in someone who had more single target damage than me to kill one of the essences. So I actually had to call in someone who had more damage than me for single target to actually kill one of the essences, because I straight up just couldn't kill it. It had Soul Eater, it had cold resistance, and I just couldn't. The health bar was not moving. Right, so this takes more time and is less profitable. Don't do it. So on that note, how much profit did we actually make doing this? So with the calcification and ghost strat, it took me 2 minutes per map. If I just did essences, if I did not do Jeune, I didn't do anything else, if I just went in, killed all the essences, and went out, it took me 2 minutes a map, right? So if we bust out so if we use our calculator, we can see that we first made, so the calcification and ghost strat, right? We made 49 divines in 50 maps, but we have to take into account how much time we spent doing this strat on top of how much we invested as well. So let's go over the investment first. We have 4 different scarabs that we used, right? 3 different scarabs actually. So we used the Scarab of Adversaries, that is the mirrored monster scarab, and all of those were 1C each, even in bulk. They're very cheap. So since we use 2 per map, that is a total of 100 scarabs there. That's 100C. Plus, we use the Essence Scarab of Calcification. Those are 30C each in bulk. Let's put in 30C. 30 times 50 is a lot actually. So let me see how much that is. 30 Chaos. That is only for like these scarabs. Right. On top of this, now we also use the essences are a tier higher, also 1C each. That's 50, 1650C, plus we ran 50 maps, but there were 50 tier 6 maps. I didn't buy any of these. I had 1 tier 7 fields map. I ran that with 2 cartography scarabs in and found a bunch of strands, and then I just started running strand, and every single strand map, I would drop at least 1 strand. If you don't know how to set up your void stones to drop lower tier maps, you basically just take out 3 void stones, then you start dropping tier 6 strand and tier 7 fields, have them favorited, and that's all you need to do. Right, so I'm going to put in like 1C per map, and just in case, just for the time investment to make some maps. So we put in a total of 1700C plus 3C extra per map for the map device is another 150. Okay, so the overall investment that we made was 1850C for 50 maps, and most of that is coming from the calcification scarab, right? So the investment is high, sure, but this is invest for 50 maps. You can do 10 maps. Sell those essences, do 20, sell them, do 50, right? You can climb the tiers slowly. How much is this in divines? Well, divines are like 96C at the moment. So our investment is 19.2 divines total, right? It's a lot. However, so 49 divines minus 19.2 is 29.8 divines pure profit, right? How long did this take? Well, as I said, it took me 2 minutes. If I only did essences, I checked, I did 10 maps, only essence, and it took me 2 minutes each, so that's fine. If you build it slower, it'll take you like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So I'm actually going to put in that. I'm going to put in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so that is 125 minutes, and that divided by 60 is 2.08 hours if you take 2.5 minutes per map. So 29 29.8 divided by 2.08 gives us 14.3 divines per hour. Right, so that is a pretty damn nice number. And if you were to go faster, if you can do this at 2 minutes a map, right, so 29.8 divided by 1.6 is 18.6 divines per hour. Right, so essences are absolutely insane. This is not an inflated number in any way. This is actually a deflated number. And now why is that? That is because look at the sheer number of essences that we have. We have 154 greeds, 152 woes, 118 rages, 66 loathings that you can sell in bulk. All of these you can sell in massive bulk. Where? Well, TFT, our favorite place. You don't have to sell these at TFT, but it'll be way quicker if you do. Right, so you can price the entire tab on TFT for like 110, 120% of the asking price, which will net you even more profit, and people will buy it because most of your essences are deafening. Right, so we have some shrieking, sure, we have 30, 50, whatever, but we have triple the amount of our shriekings in deafenings. So people will absolutely buy your tab for more than the price you have listed at. It's going to be 110, maybe even 120%. If you do even more, you can do 130%. Right, so I have a total of 100 divines almost worth of essences. So I can probably put this at 130% and people will come and buy it. Right, so pretty crazy. Adapt and go, again, this is just not the strat. It took me almost 2.5 to 3 minutes per map with a lower total profit. I'm not even going to bother calculating this. It's just going to be bad. It cost me 15C per essence per scarab for the adaptation scarab, which is just way more money spent in. Like, I still made profit in the end, but like the amount of profit that I made is so negligible that you basically didn't make anything. Right, so calcification and go, that is the way to do it. The Atlas skill trees and everything are in the description. We did have Niko in, we did have shrines in, we had Val side areas in. Speaking of that, actually, Val side areas can actually be pretty profitable if you find the alluring one in the map. You get mortal fragments. I actually got like 2 divines worth of mortal fragments in 50 maps. Pretty fun. It takes like a minute to do, so it's not that bad. So you can try this, and if you do, please let me know in the comments or join the Discord and tell me you found essences. Because if you do this, if you actually straight up just log in and do essences, let's say you buy like a crap ton of scarabs. Let's say you have like 25 divines in your stash right now, and you spend all of them. You spend all 25 divines buying essences of calcification, tier higher, and the mirrored monster essence scarabs. And you run like 150 maps of just this. 150 maps will take you 300 minutes if you do it 2 minutes per map. That is 5 hours. So if you just grind it out for 5 hours, that will be 150 divines in 5 hours, probably more than this actually, right? And if you sell it in bulk, you're in the green. You will have more than a Mageblood's worth of value in 5 hours. This is not clickbait. This is not bait. This is not inflated. This is not nothing. I will actually show myself a clip at the end of this video, which will show me selling my entire essence tab for like more than 100%. I'm not sure how much right now. Future me will know, and you will see. It's very profitable, very real, and can be done very easily. You don't even need a strong build for this. You just need a build that can do tier 6 essences, and that's it. Right? If you are a faster build, if you are a zoomy ranger, you can even do this in less than 2 minutes a map. Right? I'm a minion build. I'm slow. So that's the gist of it. If you guys enjoyed, I'm going to be testing out the new blight scarab next. So if you want to know how that works, please subscribe. We are so close to hitting 1,000 subs, and then I can monetize the channel. That would be amazing. As always, remember, you are not as useless as you might think. You can always be used as a bad example.